Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Let's just say your hour has... But wait. No. This isn't Half-Life 2. This is your origin story. So I guess this intro will make sense after you've played the second game. It's time to wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
The Half-Life series is really a story about a man and his crowbar. The platonic love story has been heralded as a classic within the video game community and was a better love story than Twilight, and Half-Life came out years before. Half-Life is an early first-person shooter and a classic to the Steam platform, having been one of the first available games on the platform when Valve still made video games. Half-Life was released in 1998. And to add a point of reference, remember that Doom was released in 1993. Just by the way. As most of you know, Half-Life was released in 1998, followed by Half-Life 2, released in 2004, followed by Half-Life 2 Episode 1, released in 2006, and of course, followed by Half-Life 2 Episode 2, released in 2007, where I am sad to say we've all been left on a perpetual cliffhanger that will never be resolved. We did get Half-Life Alyx, but I don't have a VR headset and haven't played it as of yet. There was also that leaked story which was cryptically posted online giving the outline of what would have happened in Half-Life 3, but at this point it seems extremely unlikely that we'll ever get a resolution to the series from Valve. But I would be ecstatic to be wrong about that one day. But for now, we must continue to pray to our Steam Lord Gabe Newell until our prayers are answered. The first two games I had on Steam were from the Orange Box bundle, which included Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, Portal 1, and Team Fortress 2. At the time, when those games were full price, it was an excellent bundle deal. However, you'll notice Half-Life 1 was not included in that bundle, nor was Counter-Strike, explaining why I haven't had either game in my Steam library. That all changed during the Steam Summer Sale of 2024, when I decided to pull the trigger and finally pick up the game which started it all. Half-Life is a part of history. It was the first game Valve released and was such a success that it influenced first-person shooters as a genre. Remember that around the late 90s and early 2000s, games were far less standardized with control scheme button configurations. It was the Wild West. You might be aiming with your right or your left analog stick on PlayStation. Or you might use any number of keys on your keyboard to interact and throw grenades, etc. Half-Life's controls are still really easy to go back to and pick up and understand exactly what you're trying to do, with the interact key being set to E, and flashlight key being F, crouch being control. You get the idea. Half-Life was a pivotal game to first-person shooters as a genre, and I'd be doing it a disservice without acknowledging that. Oh, and I still don't have Counter-Strike in my Steam library. That hasn't changed, lulz. Our story begins in the morning on the Black Mesa Transit System tram at the Black Mesa Research Facility in New Mexico. You play as Dr. Gordon Freeman, a graduate of MIT, having earned a PhD in theoretical physics. Not that you'll need to know any of that when everything goes sideways, and Gordon Freeman is forced to take up Crowbar against an invading alien force. As you play, you'll encounter some military personnel who have been tasked with cleaning up this disaster. But part of that cleanup involves the death of everyone in the Black Mesa research facility, especially Gordon Freeman, as he has come to realize his true purpose in life. Button presser, trigger puller, crowbar whacker. Again, this is the game that started it all. I identified the G-Men right away from the start of the game, being the only character in a suit. He kind of sticks out with all these guards and scientists in their lab coats. I guess my expectations coming from Half-Life 2 and going back to Half-Life 1 was that I would be getting some background story as to why the world was in the condition we saw in Half-Life 2. And I specifically wanted to learn more about the alien species called the Vortigons. But wouldn't you know it, there really wasn't much to be learned here. It's almost like Valve wanted to create a neat first-person shooter and then later added more story and fleshed out the story and characters in subsequent game titles. The only bit of the story to take away from Half-Life is this is how Gordon Freeman gets conscripted with G-Man. And because of Gordon Freeman's defeat of the final boss, he sets the Vortigons free from its control.
Welcome to the HEV Mark IV protective system.
Half-Life was way more tough than I expected. I was confident walking into this game thinking, yes, I've played many a first-person shooter. Put me at your normal difficulty, coach. I can take it. I guess by that, you could say I got what I deserved for being overconfident. The game holds up really well, even though it was released in the late 90s. I'm not sure if that's more a testament to the good, simple controls of the game, the simplicity of first-person shooters, my experience with the later Half-Life 2 games, or some blending of all of the above. Nearly all the controls were exactly as expected, with the standard WASD controls. Crouching with control, interact with E, flashlight with F, switch between weapons with the scroll wheel or number keys. There were two surprising mechanics I didn't learn about until the end of the game. First, there's a long jump you don't get access to until the end of the game, where the scientist who gave me the module said, "Hopefully you've taken the Black Mesa training." I have not taken the training. I thought I knew what game I was playing, sir. Here's what you do. While running, press crouch and then jump. You can't beat the game without it. After taking the training course, which I was certain I didn't need, I learned you can also grab and pull boxes towards you by holding down the interact key and moving backwards. The rest of the experience playing Half-Life was pretty similar to what you got in Half-Life 2. Incrementally picking up new weapons to try out, encountering new enemies, in between tidbits of dialogue directing you where to go and what to do. After playing through the game, I decided to see what else Half-Life had to offer. As I said earlier, the first was the training, which gave me a good introduction to the mechanics for the rest of the game. I sure would have at least liked a quick verbal instruction on how to do the long jump. All they had to say when they gave me the module would be something like, "Hey, Freeman, I know you've done the training because of course you have, but in case you forgot, crouch and jump to do the long jump." That's all I needed, Valve. After the training, I tried out Half-Life Uplink, which was apparently a repurposed cut level that was later used as a demo. As always, having more stuff is generally good, but there wasn't much to this, especially after beating the game. Lastly, there are online servers with the option to host your own server for a whole host of possibilities. I played briefly on a free-for-all deathmatch server, and I also dropped into a cooperative game which emphasized teamwork and had jumping puzzles which I sucked at. I do not like jumping puzzles in Half-Life 1. In conclusion, I've played a bunch of different games from all kinds of different times, but I've always enjoyed having the chance to go back and revisit classic games. Other than going back to revisit a classic game or nostalgia for a different time, I don't know what else you'd be doing by playing Half-Life. If you're interested in checking out Half-Life or thinking about buying it, you can always wait for a Steam sale. I picked my copy up on a 90% off sale. I punch those numbers into my calculator and it makes a smiley face. Do you know what else makes a smiley face? When you leave a comment on my video. Thank you for watching. What other classic games do I need to check out still? I haven't picked up the original Doom yet. We've never covered Myst on this channel, and I've really got to play the Secrets of Monkey Island someday. Anyway, let me know your recommendations. I would love to hear it. My name is Atratzu, and I will see you in the next video.